Jon Jones has just offered a major update about his fighting future. And if we're being honest, it sounds a lot like retirement, even though he isn't calling it that directly. Jones opened up saying he doesn't want to use the word retired because fighting is part of who he is. But right now, he genuinely doesn't care much about stepping back into the cage. He admitted he's competed at the highest level his entire life. And at the moment, that drive just isn't there. If that passion ever comes back, he said he'll return and give it his all. But that's a big if. For months now, Jon has been sending mixed messages. One day, he's hinting at a return, claiming he, Aspinall, and the UFC are in talks. The next, he sounds like he's already walked away from it all. So, where does that leave us? Is he calling it quits or not? Honestly, it's unclear. Even Jon might not know for sure.
Is Jon Jones retired? Is he fighting again?
I don't want to say that I'm retired because fighting's in my blood. Right now, I could really care less about fighting. I've been doing it my whole life at a very high level. And when the itch comes back, and if it comes back, then I'll do it with my whole heart. I'll do it to the best of my abilities. But right now, I look around and I realize what's true, what's real. I see the way people look at me and the way I make people feel. And it's an extraordinary thing. That's who I am right now. I've punched and kicked enough people.
Before we move further, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you're always up to date with what's really happening in MMA. Moving up next, we have Islam Makhachev's coach reacts to Jon Jones stripped in 2 weeks unless he accepts Aspinall fight. Islam Makhachev's coach, Javier Mendez, who just saw his own fighter lose his lightweight title, has now weighed in on what's going on between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. And yes, stripped is the right term here. Islam openly stated he wasn't vacating and still planned to defend his belt, but the UFC went ahead and removed the title from him anyway. So, if we're being honest, he got stripped. Now that Dana White has publicly given Jones 2 weeks to decide, Coach Javier thinks that deadline should be taken seriously. Still, he doesn't believe the UFC has completely lost patience with Jon just yet. According to him, the moment they truly get fed up, that's when they'll pull the belt. Until then, they're giving Jon the space to make a move. This whole scenario is something we've never seen before. Tom Aspinall has defended his interim title, which is rare in itself. But beyond that, he's now the longest reigning interim champion the UFC has ever had. He's done everything right, taken fights, faced top contenders, and kept the heavyweight scene alive while the official champ stayed inactive. And somehow, the guy holding a temporary belt is doing more for the division than the actual title holder. That really highlights just how messy the situation's become.
Dana's very, very fair. He's very fair. He's always been fair. He's a man of his word. So if he says something like that, that's probably going to be the case. You know, it's going to give him 2 weeks and that's it. Of all the years I've known him, I'm not his friend, but I know him, you know, and I've seen him pretty much stick to what he says, you know. And yeah, there's sometimes that things have changed, but that's because circumstances.
Coach, make it make sense. They've done the same thing with Islam and Poirier, but they cannot force Jones to do anything.
Well, Jones isn't going up to super heavyweight.
No, I know, but like defend or leave.
Well, I think because
they did the same thing with Islam, defend or leave.
I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know. What do you think? But you're thinking the same thing because you're saying that. I'm thinking the same thing. I think they're going to say defend or leave, you know, because we can't continue to have you keep, you know, holding us with the carrot. We need an answer for you. So yeah, but I don't think the UFC is at a point where they're fed up with it yet. Once they get fed up with it, they'll do it. Well, let's wait for 2 weeks because he said 2 weeks. So
moving up next, we have Dustin Poirier. Turned down Max Holloway fight, wanted Gaethje trilogy. Instead, let's move on to Dustin Poirier, who just admitted he wasn't really interested in fighting Max Holloway. His preference was a third fight with Justin Gaethje. With only a few weeks left until Poirier steps into the octagon for what he says will be his final bout, the former interim lightweight champ revealed that his initial plan was to complete the trilogy with Gaethje, not face Max. And before we continue, make sure to drop a like to support the video. In a clip from Full Violence, Poirier broke it down. I chose Gaethje. UFC, they wanted Max for some reason. I don't know. Because he had the BMF belt, they were high on this. I was Max's first fight in the UFC, his debut fight. And he's my last fight. He's a guy I respect a lot. So it's an important fight for me. I said legends only, and Max is definitely that. Given the occasion, Poirier is going all out. He even shared with Full Violence that Lil Wayne will be walking him to the cage on July 19th. As of right now, his guy, Wayne's manager, said he's in. We're still a good ways out, so we'll see. But as of right now, yes. Moving up next, we have Khamzat Chimaev reveals he got choked out in training before Du Plessis' fight. At a recent media event, Khamzat Chimaev surprised everyone with a rare confession. He got caught and choked out in training. It all came up when a journalist asked if anyone had ever done to him what he did to Robert Whittaker. At first, Khamzat laughed it off and gave a vague response, but the reporter pressed the issue. Eventually, Chimaev pointed to the man sitting next to him, ACA welterweight champ Abubakar Vagaev, as the one who submitted him. Fans were stunned. Chimaev's reputation in the gym is legendary. Elite fighters have talked about how brutal his training rounds are, so hearing that someone actually managed to tap him, it caught everyone's attention. He explained that it happened during a light, playful session, not one of his typical intense 100% rounds. Still, considering how dominant he usually is, the fact that he got submitted was big news, especially in Russian media. All of this comes as Khamzat prepares to take on Dricus Du Plessis, the undisputed champion, on a hot win streak and seen as Chimaev's toughest opponent to date. The only other time anyone's mentioned submitting him was Roman Dolidze, according to UFC bantamweight champ Merab Dvalishvili. Here's how Khamzat put it. I usually grapple at full intensity, going 100%, never giving anyone a chance. But not every round is like that. Sometimes we're just flowing, keeping things playful, not trying to hurt each other. And during one of those lighter sessions, someone actually caught me in a choke. I wasn't going to name him at first, didn't want to give him too much credit and let it go to his head. But if you really want to know, it's the guy sitting next to me. As for the Whittaker fight, like I've said, I wasn't trying to cause serious damage. I was going for the choke, not aiming to hurt him. Normally, when that kind of pressure hits the jaw, fighters turn their head to relieve it and give up the neck. But Rob couldn't react in time, and the pressure got to his jaw before the opening was there. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more straight-up MMA updates. No fluff, just facts.